No. Where is it? Yeah, welcome. Oops. Right. So just same thing as yesterday. You know where the toilets are, and we will have coffee break at 10:15, and then we aim to finish around 12 or 12:15. I think some of you have to leave a bit early, and there was a suggestion as well, if people are going to Charleroi at some point, maybe at coffee we can see who's going and organize taxi together. But we'll do that at coffee break at 10:15. So I don't know how many people we've got online, Valeria? Quite a few already. That's good. Nice to be committed. Very good. So just a reminder of what we're going to do today. Victor is going to present the result from the survey on the innovation on the large-scale farm, so be interesting. And then Lisa will chair the session with presenting all the innovation that we got from TechCare. We've got 5 innovations, and 3 of them will be done online, so bear with us. Hopefully it should work. Then we'll have coffee break, and then again Ilan will present closing the loop, so welfare intervention. Hopefully it should work online, and then we will talk about the business model. I don't know if Udi is online yet. If not, one of us can do it. And then we'll have the panel discussion, like we did yesterday, with Alessandro, Francisco, Eliel, and Michael. So we'll do that after coffee as well. And that's it. So, Victor, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm going to... Okay, better? Yeah. I'm going to explain the results of the surveys of the large-scale 5, the workshop 5. So as you know, in the large scale, we have been working with several technologies, such as the weather station and the intersensors, the individual milk meters, and the milk meter, the milk tank weighing scale, and several more. So we have prepared a survey to ask our participants about their opinion and their point of view of their work with these devices and the collection of the data and the welfare assessment. So we designed a survey that, asking them about their level of collaboration, their work with their installation, the use and the maintenance of these devices, and also during the data collection and the welfare assessment. The survey consists of 26 questions and was translated in 5 languages, like French, Greek, English, Romanian, and Spanish. And we try to quantify the degree of their ease or complexity of the different stages of the work, as well as the time they required, and their point of view of the usefulness of the technologies. It was done with Google Forms and also on paper. Well, regarding the results, we had 45 answers of these 4 countries: Spain, France, Ireland, and Greece. And the participants were all kind of people, like mostly farmers and technicians. Among the technologies, mostly were weather station and indoor sensors, but we have also some answers from the rest of the devices that were in the project, such like the individual milk meter, the milk tank, and the rest of them. Now, talking about the technology's difficulties, we prepared like a scale to quantify their experience, where the number 1 is a little and 5 means a lot. And we calculate average of their answers. And for example, of the installation, we had a scale, on the scale, we have 2.24 out of 5. So it means that it's not so easy to install these devices, but it's not so difficult. It's in a medium average. But this is an average of all the devices. We have some devices that have a less point, like 1.6 of the entrance order to the milking parlor, which means that some of them are much easier than the average. Regarding the use, we had a qualification of 2.04, which is also not is difficult to use them, but also the indoor sensors had a 1.25 score, so they are also easier to use. And regarding the maintenance, we had a 185 points, so it also are easy to maintain. With this survey, we also obtain the most common difficulties or issues that the users found during the installation, the use, the maintenance of these devices. And the idea is to gather all these issues and their solutions in guidelines to make it easier for future users. So for example, in the weather station and the indoor sensors, we have some problems with the soil sensors because they are easy to lose or to break. So we have like some adaptations, like protect them inside a plastic of bottle, a bottle of plastic, sorry, or and also in a concrete block, so they can get safer from the use. And also install them near to the humidity and temperature sensors, so you can locate them easily, or mark them with any kind of flag or whatever in the wall, so you can find them better. Another example, some difficulties they find with the milk time waking scale is that when the tank is empty or full, they have some deviations and they need to recalibrate this device constantly. Or another example with the automatic waking scale, the instructions are poorly understandable, as the farmers say, so it's necessary that a technician is during the installation of the technology. Or when if there are to use get inside the wake scale at the same time, there is a problem, so they have to install a previous door. Now, talking about the data collection, we prepared the same kind of scale, and this time we ask about the time required to do this collection of the data from the devices, and the punctuation is also good because the time required is not bad qualified, is just 2.1. The is 2.4, which is also medium punctuation, which means that it's not a big deal to do it. And what is important is that the information reliability is 3.2, which is near to 5, which is a good punctuation. Concerning to the animal welfare assessment, we changed a little bit the scale. Now 1 means very poor and 5 means excellent. And in the 3 sections, we have a good punctuation. The frequency of the assessment had an average of almost 13 days, which has 3.7 punctuation, which is near to 5. The East had a 3.4 punctuation. That is also a good punctuation. And the time used during the protocol is less than 3 hours, which the farmers consider that is appropriate. Well, and we finished the survey with this question that it says, is the information from these tools useful for animal welfare management? And in this case, the 4 countries answered 100% that yes. So we consider that this is a good answer for the support of the project and the work. So finally, I would like to conclude that with this tool, with this survey, we have gathered the participants' opinion and also the main issues that they have found and the best solutions or the best adaptations that they have done in their farms. And this can be very useful if we add it to the guidelines of the technologies, and it's a way to help the actual users and the future ones. So thank you. That's all. Any question?
Question for Victor? Is there anything in the chat?
No.
In Zoom? No.
Oh, well, first of all, we are waiting because the survey is open, so we are waiting for more answers. We're waiting the ones from Romania, so we can add more issues or solutions that they have found during the work. Yeah.
I just want to say really good presentation, and I enjoyed the fact that you'd found the problems and also the solutions. Are you going to put both in the guidelines or have the solutions as well?
Yeah, that's
Brilliant.
the idea.
Yeah, that's really good idea.
I don't know how to fit all that information in a 2-page guideline, but it's the idea. Or if maybe we can do like a QR if it's too much information, but that's it. Thank you.
There is a comment from, Esther Alex Pons. You said that calibration is an issue. How calibration impact the welfare assessment?
I mean, the calibration of the device is the solution.
Yes, I believe she is talking about calibration of the devices. This is an issue, but how can the calibration impact the welfare assessment? Because maybe if the calibration is not good, maybe you cannot measure accurately your problem, your issue.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. When there is a problem in the device and you are not taking properly the data, there is a problem. So you have to solve it first, and then when you don't have problems, continue with the assessment. Yeah.
Any user comment or no? Okay, so we're a little bit ahead of scheduled, which means that innovation can have a little bit more time. But Lisa is going to be your chairperson. Shall I go there? Use this one later.
Okay, it's probably a good idea to have a few minutes more for this session, I think. Yes, so yesterday we heard quite a lot about techs that were tested in pilots and in large scales, and more or less tech that is on shelf and available and possible for the farmers to buy and start to use at some level at least. Part of the TechCare project also looked into innovative and new promising technologies, and this is what we'll hear about now. We will have 5 presentations, and I think allowing about 10 minutes for each, and a couple of questions after each. And I thought I'd let you know when 10 minutes has passed for each of the presentations in order to keep time and allow time for questions. So first, we have Eliel from INRAE presenting the walk over weights. Please.
So, little one, a little bit smaller than you. Good morning, everyone. So I will try to present you a flash of the works that we have been running in the TechCare project with the world-overweight technology. So, how is this? La flèche verte. Okay. Okay. Merci. So it is being now 10 years that we started this adventure with this technology in France, and the idea was to find an alternative to what it is the gold standard for measuring the life weight of animals in the farm. So we know that weighing animals, life weight is one of the most conventional parameters in zootechnics, but the real situation is that it's not very often that the farmer weigh the animals, so because this is a time-consuming task, labor-intensive, and places stress both on the animals and the operator. So at that time, in 2016, we started to develop these prototypes. So we have 2 prototypes, the first one and another one that was improved in France in collaboration with Eliel. And the idea was that to find an alternative to the static scale, just to automatize the process and without human intervention, to have a lot of live weight data in whatever the farmer and farming system situation. So the design take into account the autonomy in energy, so just to be placed in large spectrum of a farming system situation with solar panel and a battery. You can use the technology without problem. Another aspect was the ease of transportation and the mobility, just to, for example, in remote areas of ranchland to use it. And finally, to be resistant to outdoor situation and different environmental conditions. So that was just to remind what the technology is. And we didn't know that at that time that we will have the advantage of using this nice TechCare project just to advance in the work at the time that we were starting. So in the TechCare project, finally, until today, we have been running several trials, more than 10, in fact, in Italy by Agris, that was developing things in different conditions with the Sarda sheep breed, but also in France, in Eliel, with the Mourier, basically with the Ile-de-France and Romanov breed, lambs, but mostly indoor, and our team in INRAE in Domaine du Mel with the Merinos de Ales and Lafarge with the Roman. So just a flash of what these works have been obtaining. For example, Agris was evaluating different nutritional issues with a live weight change detected by the WO, just evaluating different access time to grazing, for example, and they were able to estimate dry matter intake by difference in live weight before and after the grazing session. So there were some of the works that Agris team carry out, but Mauro and Valeria are here, and you can talk with them about this. The Ideal team in the Morier farm, they developed some works just linking to the gastrointestinal parasitism in lambs, and the work was possible to help in the progression of the monitoring of the live weight in control versus infected lambs. Despite that, there were no difference between the treatment. The work was helpful in that everyday live weight evaluation in this experiment. And from our team, different works have been doing. One of the most significant is this evaluation of the full flock, full pregnancy trials that we have been running since 2022. Now we are in the third pregnancy with a full flock of the rangeland in Lafarge. This experiment has been very interesting just to see how the daily individual female live weight progress from mating until lambing in function of litter size, lamb sex, etc., just to detect abortion, etc. And we have been obtaining a lot of nice results with these experiments. But at the same time, our team was very worried about the quantity of outliers that the work produced, because this is a real-life technology. And that was a problem that we solved in collaboration with the Mistea team and the mathematicians, and we developed this Cafino algorithm just to filter in an automatic way the misbehaviors and the large amount of outliers that are detected in the raw data sets that we obtain from the work. And once we apply Cafino, we have the clean data set on which we can make a lot of interpretation in function of the research question that we are treating. And this was done with the principle and approach of prediction, correction, detection, and removal in an automatic way. But to use Cafino, we continue the road, and we developed the Oriol web application just to make a friendly used vehicle of using this algorithm in an automatic and daily basis day. So with this whole set of tools, we are now in the process of developing early warning systems in different farming system conditions in France. And the idea with another project is to develop a smartphone application adding value from Oriol, but adding value at the same time from Cafino for the easy use of the farmer in the farm. So as a conclusion, very quickly, we think and we are convinced that the WOW is some alternative to static scales, save time, energy, and stress to animals, but also the operators. Without human intervention, we have the possibility of providing a huge amount of valuable daily individual body weight information, which is very useful for different finalities. This technology can be adaptable to a large spectrum of animal categories, including growing, but also other animals from different breeds in different conditions, etc. But it is true that we recommend basically for outdoor conditions. Indoor is a little bit more difficult, the application. So due to the important volumes of outliers, we strongly recommend, and we are happy with this algorithm, because that facilitates life of the end users, but also increase the possibility of acceptability by the farmer and other stakeholders. But also, we are happy also with the web application, which is just the last step in the process that allows the daily basis use of the WOW without problem. So, and just to finish, and we have been demonstrating the TechCare project, the possibility of using this platform with the Cafino and the Oriol web application in a large multitude of research questions. just to treat different animal welfare issues. And right now, we are in the process, as I said, just to develop the early warning system. Hopefully, that will be ready soon. Thank you very much. And yes, I think that the war is promising, probably, with the problem of price, as all the precision livestock technologies.
Thank you, Eliel. So there is room for questions.
Thank you. I question about the last thing you said about price, because you confronted it with the traditional method. How much traditional method costs? Manpower, working days, how long it take to weight animals twice a year, 3 times a year, in comparison to the prices of workover weights now on the market?
Yeah, in the market, for example, Prale or Gallagher, the price is more or less the same. It's around 10,000 euros. But the big challenge is to treat with the private society that we work in France and build the wall, for example, to reduce the price, just to increase the adaptability, because as every technology, you can have the most excellent technology, but if we don't solve the problem of price, and the future is compromised, I think.
But I think, Eliel, if you look at the cost benefit, if you include the labor saving, all of that, and I think that's what we were going to do in some of the guidelines, then you can demonstrate that, yes, it is pricey, but if you take into account all the benefits, then it's a different story. So.
Yeah. How much?
How many weights, manual weights, it takes to compensate the cost of buying one?
I didn't calculate that. I didn't calculate, but as Claire say, I think that is...
So we didn't use a WOW in the UK, but we use a classic Pratley, and we made some calculation like that. So you can weigh 500 animals in 1 hour with that system. So I don't know if the WOW might be a little bit different because you're slowing them down, but it's still, when we did the research on our farm, you were saving probably 3-4 pounds per animal of labor, just for the labor. So that's what, 5-6 euros per use. So.
And that was comparing from an automatic weigh scale where the animals run in by themselves to one that you had to put the animal in and then, crank the handle to lift them up to weigh. So it's quite a considerable saving. And also much quicker on top of just the labor use as well. So
the big advantage is that the WOW works alone and produce lightweight data individually, almost daily, without human intervention, once the flock is adapted, because we need to adapt a little bit the flock. For example, in the rangeland of Lafarge, the full flock is completely adapted, and we have an average of 5-6 live weight per female per day.
Hi, thanks. Eliel, just a short comment. I would like to express maybe the opinion of the stakeholders and some ideas of how this technology can further be commercialized. It's an excellent PLF tool, and I think we all understand the usefulness of collecting a lot of data on the weight of the animals, very frequent. I think that the stakeholders would like at first to have more simple explanation of what they will gain from this. And maybe because you have done a lot of trials and you have a lot of data, maybe you should focus on specific things or issues that at first, okay, that the farmers can improve using this PLF tool. I think the price is not the most
limiting factor.
Yeah, difficult part for the farmers to adapt this technology, because always or often the government or the EU subsidize investments in new technologies. what we have understand from the stakeholder perspective and opinion is that they need to understand quite simple how this tool will help, or they will give them more money, more time. So and maybe you should focus on one or two specific issues at first, and then try and use it in other situations as well.
Thank you. So but the answer is very simple. Live weight is important for everything. It's an essential parameter for monitoring the health and monitoring, for example, in growing animals, the performance, etc., the health of the female. So if you are able to know the individual daily live weight progression of every individual in your flock, you have a big tool in your hand for whatever the reason.
Totally agree, but stakeholders are sometimes also afraid when they have a lot of data. They don't know how to use it. So maybe this is what you mentioned about the application.
The application.
Okay.
All this data and provide simple.
Yes. I agree.
Sorry, Eliel.
Last question.
Last question. Jan Ledoux is asking that at our last national workshop, we had one farmer very interested in having one. Is there an engineering company able to construct a WOW commercially? If it's on the market, the WOW.
It's not on the market. We have been working with Maréchal Pesage. It's a private company in the north of France. And we have just a contract of ad hoc contract, but it's not in the market.
Okay.
That's why it's probably a promising.
A promising, okay.
But it's not in the market.
Thank you. Thank you, Eliel. And you kept your time very well. Okay, so our next tech is the TroughAI with Ilan from Arrow, and he's online. So hopefully the tech works and we can have you online.
And thank you all for organizing. I wish I could be with you, but didn't come out. I will try to do my best. So what I'm going to talk about is the combination of water trough and automatic weighing scale. I will go through the development from RTL2 readiness to RTL8. And actually the point here is to have animal welfare, but also added value to the farmer all together in one device. The people here, the main people working on this project are Asaf Godot and Alon Bar Shamai, together in Yossi Lapper. This room is not exist anymore. We moved to another place near the electronical lab, so it's essential. Can you see the new slide? Or
Yes.
It's not fast enough?
Yes.
You see. Great. So this was the test. The timeline for a prototype in PLF, I will not say it's every time, but in our case, this is what we had, starting in 2017, laser point, where we mainly work on the RFID system and how to make the animal to get into it, and then going all the way until 2022 when we have the final version that is working now. So what you see here is the first prototype. You see build out wood with all the issues of the high frequency RFID. Later on we move forward. Here we address the issue of the animal didn't like to go into this cage until we find a solution, the one we have today, that it is animal friendly and the animal like to go in. We don't need Yossi Lapper to train the animal anymore. It took quite a few years. What we have today is all the AI model, the algorithm, the early warning system, electoral identification or camera, doesn't matter which one, but individual identification, to paint system. It used to be blue, and red. Now we change it to pink when Renata joined the project. And this is the best interface with the farmer, just to see the color of the animal together with the computer and the mobile and everything, but we also need a paint on the animal back. It stands near existing water trough. This is the weighing scale for 2 legs. We had some small algorithm to convert from 2 legs to large leg. And this is the way it should give both animal welfare and practical weighing to the farmer. One health concept. It's in Hebrew, so I will translate it to you. It's not a farmer, it's one of the neighbors who came and had to look around. And he said that if he was a goat or sheep, he was very happy to stand on it. This is what he said. This is the way it looks in reality. This is the way the mother teach the baby to get into, very easy now after we reach this situation. Asaf was the one who built mainly the hardware, and Alon was the man who took the algorithms for the PhD students, the previous one that was before the project, and made a user software for the farmer and along the chain. Don't have it here, but there is one picture when you see a single element lying here, and these animals that we are running after, this is the one who still alive, maybe suffer, and this is the one we can treat. And we see it because it hasn't arrived enough to the water trough or changed the water pattern, the drinking behavior. This is the farmer side. Doesn't matter if you have the most sophisticated iPhone or the old Nokia, or I don't know what it is. Alon, he's a genius. He made working on every operational system together with the regular computer. By the way, this is Dudi Ivri, those who was in the previous meetings, he worked with us. This is one of the farmers. And this is the way it looks like. Really, this is the pink for Renata. You see this animal is pink, pink. You may see some red one. And this is the way it works in reality. Can you see? I'm with you with the slides?
Yes.
Can you see? Okay, thanks. This is example for specific animal. After only a few days, we realized that the most best threshold, if animal used to arrive few times and now arrived only few, it has a problem, and this is where you can save her. We're still alive, still it's a early warning system as it should be, but we added additional one. We had a body weight change because some of the animal never reach the threshold, the amount of growth when they earn more money from body weight comparing to the cost of the feed. And we are searching this line, what is the name for it? I forgot it. The trade-off, the trade-off point. Some animal were okay at the beginning and they change, and this is what we are searching for, because this has a lot of economical value to the farmer. So actually we are searching this point, not going into a place at the point when the animal doesn't earn enough money comparing to the cost of the food. When we made the calculation, this was a long PhD, the paper is still on the process. It's a lot of money. If you look at not in euro, but in the number of lambs, it's equivalent to 12 lambs out of 53 that you could earn money comparing to losing money. I will not go into the numbers, but it has economical value together with the animal welfare. I'm not saying nothing against animal welfare, but it is an additional to the animal welfare. So we have both animal welfare and farm profitability in this system. I will show you now, we'll present the list that the company showed to the farmers, and these are the benefits. Maybe there are more, no? You see the first two lines are animal welfare related. There is a lot of things about feed waste and cost, pregnancy, the disease that you saw yesterday. But look, the company put the first two lines related to animal welfare, heat stress, and what is this, herd mortality.
Par rapport à ces congés, parce qu'il lui reste encore 17 jours à prendre.
There is someone on the background.
Je pense qu'elle prévoit de poser en s'arrêtant le 21
I will continue. So
Sorry, Ilan.
continue to make sure it is working everywhere, not staying only on academic level. Alon was a student in the Vulcani Center, established a company, its own company. This is in Eurotier, also win a medal, not gold, some of the medals, some of the prize in Eurotier. And his concept is like, I don't know what is this, Ferrari, Tesla, or you probably recognize that you buy the system online. You get 3 boxes, this box, and big one, and you assemble it by yourself. And the model, the economical model, the business model, that you pay only few on the delivery, and most of the money is like a service, like a subscription, and probably did it with Eitan or before Eitan, and Udi proposed it later on, but this is what he's trying to do, and I really hope that it will go to every, not every, but the first pioneers of the small ruminated farms. I stopped sharing because I like to see you. Until now, I didn't see you at all. And now I'm with you.
Thank you, Ilan, and also thank you for keeping the time. So, allowing 1 or 2 questions?
I always the same economic application related. You said at the end that it's a SaaS, software as a service business model. How much it covers, how much the subscription covers the product, and how does it work for you as a company?
This is a critical point, and I always in minority because Alon has his own way and has do it in all way. I've no any connection. I really don't know what part has been covered and what no. From the moment it left the Vulcani Center, we have no control anymore on this concept. It is in the company to do. Vulcani just give the patents, get royalties, and that's all. I have no idea what part it is covered. You know Alon, you can ask him. Asaf also is part of it.
Thank you. No more questions. Yes, thank you again, Ilan. And we are...
Yes, I will continue with the RIM table, what we do with the data, how we really improve the animal welfare. It will be the next session about how this system and the other system improve animal welfare.
Excellent. Thank you. So now we go to the next promising innovation. This is also will be online, and it's about the Breedr app. And it's James from Breedr that will have this presentation. So hopefully you are there online.
Yeah, I'm here. Hello.
Excellent. Are you happy to share your screen?
I should hopefully be sharing it. Can you see that, tech team?
Lovely, tech works.
Are you? So I can't see anything. I can just see the slides. So let me know when you can see some sheet.
Looks perfect.
Brilliant. So good morning. I'm James Wright from Breedr. We're one of the commercial partners in this project. So we are a data platform for livestock, and we help farmers and supply chains and institutions sort of manage their livestock data. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about what we helped the project do. And what we enabled all of these great researchers to be able to do. So the way that Breedr works is we give farmers a easy-to-use farm management app. It's on your mobile, tablet, web, and it makes it really easy to record data. We then help the flow of that data. So if you're moving from one farm to another, that data moves with the animal. And then we support very large supply chains with, hundreds of thousands of animals to manage their data. And the supply chain's goal might be to improve genetic optimization. It might be to just know where all of their animals are, or it might be to track specific things like with TechCare, which was welfare scores, and specifically, things like condition score, putting it alongside productivity data as well. So our big thing is productivity data. And then, just a little bit more info about the app. And I'm going to show you what Breedr looks like to give you a bit of inspiration for your project in the future. So this is the Breedr mobile app. So this is what the technicians and the farmers had on farm. And in here, I've got all of my animals on farm. So this is just dummy test data, but we can tap into any one of these animals and look at their groups, or their locations, where they are on the farm. We've got a map in here that you can go into and see where you are in the world, and see where your animals are as well. But I can tap into an individual animal, and I can see that this is a ewe lamb. She's a year old, and then I can see what her EID is. But then I can also see what her history is. So I can see that in February, a technician condition scored this very fat, a 5. And then she also had a welfare score, and I'll show you how we log that welfare score in a second. But then also here we've got a weight, so we can see that I weighed this on the 18th of March. And if this animal had an alert, so there was actually a specific welfare concern, I could come in here and log an alert against the animal that would tell the technician or the farmer that they needed to keep a really close eye on this animal. But the way that we make metric recording really easy is we have this thing called QuickWay. So we link with Bluetooth to the walkover wear that you saw, very common EID equipment on farm. So when I then have the animals in front of me, I can just scan the EID, and that animal record then appears in front of me. And then I will automatically record the weight via the EID. And I'm just going to demonstrate that now. You can imagine that this is an EID'd animal with an automatic weight scale. And so we can see here that this animal now weighs 40 kilos, and it's growing at 0.09 kilos a day, roughly about 90 grams a day. Average growth rate for sort of a lamb that you're growing sort of between 200 and 300 grams a day. So this animal's not growing as fast as we might like. And we can look at the animal and then come in and log a welfare score against the animal. So we can come in and log a welfare score. It's really easy, based on feedback, but we got any injuries, no. Is it coughing, slight cough, no ocular discharge, and then any parasites, no. But what we might say, the coughing is causing an issue, so that animal might need a wormer or something. But before we did that, we would do a fecal egg testing. But this data that I've got here, and it all gets saved up to the cloud. So the moment that I click save and finish, that data is now available around the world for any farmer, technician, or anyone to come in and look and view and use. So the other part of Breedr is that we make it really easy to get the data out. So we've provided data dumps of every single activity, every single animal on all the farms in France, Spain, Greece, Romania. That's all come out the back of Breedr, and every farm and technician has this app. So it's been great to work with the guys around the world. It's been a real experience for us. We've managed to translate the app into different languages as well. So this is all because of TechCare. So you can come in here and change the language of the app as well. So yeah, that's Breedr. I can talk for longer if you'd like, but I don't think you do want me to talk for longer. So I'm happy to take any questions.
Thanks a lot. All speakers talking slightly less than 10 minutes, and you even faster, so excellent questions. There is one from the chat, maybe?
No.
No.
Nothing from the chat.
It was so quick and brief.
I can make up a question if you want. How do you get the benefits of Breedr? Well, you can just drop me an email and quite happily talk to anyone about what we can do for you. We also work with cattle, pigs, goats, whatever anyone wants to record data against.
Excellent. Thanks again for a lovely presentation. So now we will hear about the UHF app, and it's Florian from PageUp, and hopefully
Yes,
you are also, yes, excellent.
I'm online, sorry. So I'm Florian, working for PageUp, Group B Solution, and we developed for a few years now a UHF reading platform, including a hardware part that is deployed on the fields, and a cloud website to connect with data. So on the first part, we have the hardware part, which is composed by, of course, a UHF reader, plus a mini PC that will run the software we developed, and all other things to make it work, such as the electrical equipment to power up the system, and of course a real-time clock, so we could be on time when sending back data to the cloud. It could be linked to 4G router to be connected, or it could use any local network as we could do at the office or at home. It could use up to 4 antennas and sensors, movement sensors, sorry. The idea is to be able to be fully autonomous, mainly by using solar panels. So using sensors allows us to read only when there is something to read. So it's quite important that it's a big improvement we have performed through the TechCare project. So the hardware is presented as a big case, including everything. So so it's easy to install on field. And on the picture, you can see in the upper right corner is a full installation with the UHF case, plus solar panels and batteries. And here we are using only one antenna, the little pink thing in up the screen, up the pictures, sensors, which is attached to the pole here. So this is what I just explained. So sensors, UHF reader, 4G router, and a power supply. It could be used using different modes. It is fully driven by a mobile application. So it's very useful when we are setting up the system to make some tests, to set up the reading power, that kind of thing. Then you have the continuous mode. The case is reading, and data are stored in the local database case and can then be retrieved by the mobile app. And eventually, the connected mode, which is the mostly used now, and it's the case is reading, and then all data automatically sent to the cloud. It's the one we are mainly using now. And as I said before, we could attach 2 motion sensors to the case. It allows us to lower the power consumptions, to make the case read only when there is some animals in front of the case. It's very important when we are working on batteries and solar panels. And these cases could be connected to the cloud, which provides quite important features, starting with all the monitoring. It means making sure that the cases are connected, the cases are reading, see data, etc. I will explain it later. Of course, we could have full access to the raw data returned by the different cases on the fields. So it means each tag, each animal that has been read by the case. We worked also on algorithms to have value from this raw data, and all exports that could be used to make some manual computation on the data we have collected. We also have all features to perform a remote configuration and updates of the cases. And if we have some new functionality, we could send it remotely to the case and configure it also remotely. So the first main feature is regarding the monitoring. So the idea here is to have a clear view of the status of the case, reading status, memory, configuration, updates, etc. And we could also define real-time alerts to inform us if something is wrong. So simply the case has been lost because there is a network issue. So if we have no data for a given period of time, which could be a very important information, and if we lost an antenna because a cable is broken or incorrectly plugged, it could send by email all that kind of alerts that allow us to have a clear view of the situation in fields. Then we have all information regarding the raw data. So raw data are really each tag we have seen with a case. We will, for each raw data, we have, of course, the animal, the UTC reading time, some information regarding signal level that could be used to make, that will be used for the algorithms. A number of reads, technical number of reads, which is also very important, a very important for UHF, because if we see the tag only once, it's probably that the animal was quite far from the antenna. But if we see several dozens of times, then it means it was really in front of the antenna. So it could allow us to discard some readings in the next algorithms I'll show you. And of course, the ID of the case that read the tag and the antenna read the tag, because we can have one antenna having a on the water point and another antenna that will monitor another point of interest. So here, this is the web interface that allows us to filter raw data, display this raw data. We could also have a graphic. I don't know what. Yes, we also have a graphic per day, per hour, etc. And all exports are available here. Then, using this raw data, we developed several algorithms to give value to this data. The first one is the visits algorithm that will allow us, starting from this raw data, to define the period of time an animal will be in front of a reader. So will be drinking if we are during a water drought. We have some parameters that could be set up to be as how can I say that, as real as possible. Okay, and then we can, for each animal, provide the different time where we see him coming to drink or etc. So it's quite interesting, and we are using in several projects now. We also have detections. This one is quite simple, since the idea is to make sure that on a period of time, I saw all the animals I have to see. I mean, all my animals have been came to the water during the day or twice a day, etc. Okay, and eventually we also have a mobile app. We have fully we work for TechCare project. It allows us to perform real-time readings, to save lists, and to configure the reader. So which antenna are connected, which mode are we using, what is the power reading, etc. So we are often, when installing a new system, using the real-time reading to make sure the configuration we provided is correct regarding the environment. And eventually we have quite new ideas for that case, starting from integration of new readers, using multiplexing, which is being able to use up to 64 antennas per case, which could be interesting in some use cases, and the configuration per antenna, because up to now, configuration is providing to all antennas, but we noted that in some use cases, it could be interesting to have different reading power on the different antennas. And I'm done. I don't know if you have any questions for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Florian. Yes, there is a question.
Thanks, Florian. So it's clear. I've got a question. Is in your next step, are you thinking of adding the LoRa as a way of transmitting the data? Because as you probably remember, that's what we were. Yeah.
We tested that. Up to now, we always had a 4G network. But you're right, it's something we should look at, because we are mainly working in experimental farms, so they are very well equipped. But it's doable, and it's something we have to look at.
And a quick other question, still in relation with the trial we've done in Scotland. Waterproofing of the case? Is that...
Yes. Yes, that's right. Up to now, we have that case not waterproofed. That's right, and we put it in big electrical stuff, which is waterproofed. It's something we have to work on. That's true.
Thank you, Florian. Yes, so
you're welcome.
Yeah. Any final comments now? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so now to the final promising innovation that's to be presented today. It's the BLE and the readers, and it's Claire from SRUC.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. So I'm just going to present you now the Bluetooth innovation that was mentioned yesterday, but a bit more detailed now. So what's the Bluetooth? The BLE is Bluetooth Low Energy. And what we've done on our research farm at Kirkton in Scotland is we designed with a company in Glasgow something that we call WISP, for Wearable Integrated Sensor Platform. So it's a bit of a mouthful. But basically, it's a gray box. And in that box, we put a Bluetooth reader with a GNSS and real-time transmission capability using a LoRa network. And so that's inside the box, as you can see on the picture, with a big battery. And it works with little beacon, so the low-power Bluetooth beacon that we just bought from China. So we had different, they're not very big. You can see the scale of it next to a coin on the picture. And we started with some triangular-shaped one, and then they changed the design, so we went with the teardrop one. This little beacon lasts, apparently, according to the instruction, up to 2 years. So the battery life is quite long. And again, going back to what we were saying yesterday, they're quite light, they're only a few grams. And the price, when we bought them, was around 12 euros. So again, something that for farmer could be affordable. So that's where we started looking at that innovation. And we looked at that as a proxy for proximity to resources, so water or feed, as we were discussing yesterday, but also presence and absence and detection of the animal near the resources, and also location of the animal. So it's all going back to the welfare priority and issues we discussed with Kathy yesterday. So we were looking at nutritional issues and mismothering on our research farm. So the way the reader was calibrated, that each reader was able to detect 16 beacons in its proximity every 5 minutes. So we did different try to see how it would work, and as per my question earlier, we work in outdoor challenging conditions. So most of the work is done by one of our PhD students, Amy Walker, so I've stolen a lot of her slides. So when we started first is we tried to test the system, and without the sheep, to just calculate if the height and the distance of the reader and the beacon were exactly how it was advertised by the Chinese. Then once we've done that testing, we did a first trial around the winter feeding time. So as you can see on the picture, we put the Bluetooth reader, so the box, next to a hay feeder and above molasses bucket. And the ewes were wearing the beacon as a little necklace around their neck. We had 100 ewes, and at the same time, we were also doing the welfare assessment that Kathy was mentioning yesterday. So we weigh the ewes every 2 weeks. We were doing body condition score, the full welfare assessment, and as I say, they had the beacon around their neck. In total, we deployed 14 of these boxes of the wisps. We had 6 on various posts in the field. We had 4 on the hay feeder, and then 4 on the blocks. So as I was saying, for that trial, it was really to look at the nutritional issues and the presence or absence of the animal. The second trial took place around lambing time in 2023. So it was 6 weeks over the lambing period, and we only had 30 ewes, but we had 60 lambs, so they were all with twins, and we had a mixture of 2 breeds, Clean and Blackface. And the Bluetooth beacon were on the lamb. Amy fashioned little neckband for the lamb, and we could slot the beacon inside, and the ewes were wearing the box around their neck as a collar. And that was really to look at issues of distance between the ewe and the lamb and potentially mismothering. So some of the results we got for the off-sheep testing, Amy put the reader and the beacon at different height. So the 2 heights we were looking at were 30 centimeters to reproduce the height of a lamb and 70 centimeters to reproduce the height of a ewe. And then we put the post at various distance because according to what the technology was saying, the beacon could be read up to 120 meters. That's what it said on the box. But actually, when we did the measurement, you realize that after 30 meters, the probability of the reader being picked up is dropping dramatically. And that's in the condition we're working in. Maybe if you're indoor, you would have that distance, but when you're outside on the ground that's not very plain, the reading just drops down. So after 30, 40 meters, you're not likely to get all the animal being picked up by the reader. So once we knew that, so that's the result for the winter feeding. So you can see on the map where we were. So it was roughly 40 hectares, a mixture of rough ground vegetation. And as I was saying, we had all the reader on the feed. What we found is looking at the daily contact. So it's a bit of a busy slide, but each column represents 1 beacon, so 1 ewe. And we were able to see how many times the ewe was making contact with the reader, so coming next to the feed. You can see that some ewes are always on the green, so they've got more than 200 contacts over a day. But some ewes started in some days not to have any contact. So the one in red, we only had between 0 and 9 contacts that were picked up. And then amber was between 10 and 199 contacts. So using that approach, we're able to kind of do a traffic light system to see which ewes used to come to the feeder and then suddenly stop. And that can be an alert later on to say, well, something's not quite right. Let's try to find out what happened with that animal. Then for the lambing, as I say, so that's how it was set up with the beacon on the lamb. So what Amy found in her work was there were differences in the contact between the ewe and the lamb according to the breed, according to the age of the lamb, and according to the welfare issues. And that's going back to what Kathy was saying yesterday, that when the ewe was lame, she had more contact with her lamb, probably can't run away fast enough from it, and then she had less contact with the other ewes. So again, that's a promising use of the technology to detect any issues. And finally, what Amy also did in her work, using the readers that were put on various posts in the field, she was able, by triangulation, to detect where an animal is located, according to where the beacon was picked up by which reader. And she developed some algorithm and calculation, but she was able to pinpoint the location of an animal with an accuracy of roughly 20 meters, which indoor is not very good, but when you're in outdoor condition, it's quite a good achievement. So again, that shows the potential that the technology can offer for outdoor system. So just to conclude, we think that the Bluetooth is a promising innovation for welfare. We are able to look at presence or absence at the resource point. It's interesting for the ewe-lamb contact, and potentially we can look at the behavioral change over time, potentially across and within days. But there are issues to consider for the future use. The battery power inside the box at the moment is only 10 days, so it's not very long. The technicians were a bit fed up having to change the battery all the time. The prototype is still quite unwieldy. I know it's been tested on some other farm, on Morden farm with colleagues near Edinburgh, and they had some issues with a lesion under the chin of the animal. So it's something that we need to work on. And also waterproofing was an issue, and the weight. But the range also of the distance needs to be probably reviewed, and it's not 120 meters, it's more 30, 40 meters. So let's be realistic about that. And also there is the issue of the communication network. So we use LoRaWAN, but if you are using on different farm, you'll have to find a different way of having the real-time information coming onto the platform.
Questions?
Stand to silence. Ah, Beth.
Yeah, thanks for the presentation. I was wondering for the animals where it turns red at some point, where you lose the signal. It could be that they're not approaching, but it could also be that the tag is failing. So did you control for that? Or did
yes, so Amy was checking how many times it was picked up. So we know that some of the beacon were not working, so she discarded them from the analysis. We also had issues of 1 or 2 of the box of the wisps that just stopped working for no reason. So there were quite a lot of trial and error, but yeah, so it is still a prototype.
Thank you, Claire, for the presentation. I have a question regarding further development. Do you think that it could be possible to change the model of the WISP to go up to, because actually it's up to 16 bitcoins for the detection. Yeah. Do you think that there is other option to go for more detection?
I think so, because when we developed with a colleague in Glasgow, we say we want to have the 16, but I seem to remember you could decide to have less or more, but it's all down to how the algorithm inside the box is written. So it was quite flexible.
Okay. Thank you. So one final question from me that maybe. Do you think this is a promising technology and for some company to develop and have it as a commercial product?
So I think so, and as you know, Lisa, thanks for the prompt.
we know that there is a company in Norway, Real-Time ID, that use the same principle, and I think you were mentioning them yesterday. So in Norway, they are developing the equivalent of the WISP is much smaller, so it's more like it's easier to put under the neck of the animal, and they managed to put the beacon into some tags that are a bit big, but not too big. But I think, Lisa, you had maybe the results were not as good as hoped. But I mean, it still shows that there is interest out there, and it's still promising, because at the moment, what's on the market is maybe not exactly what we want. What we're working on with the prototype has a lot of issues, but I think in the next few years, it's something that should be hopefully quite widespread, at least in outdoor system.
Thank you. So it will be very interesting to follow all these techs in the years ahead to see how they perform. Yeah.